I'm Jenni Carlson here with Kyle Fredrickson. We're in Stillwater, where Oklahoma State has defeated Kansas 58-10. But Kyle, obviously today was not really about the final score of this football game. It was about the tragedy that happened at the Oklahoma State football homecoming parade, or the homecoming parade. We now know 4 people confirmed to have died, more in the hospital. Just really an unbelievable tragedy before this football game. And you had a chance to hear from a lot of different people today about what happened, just how people are reacting.
Yeah, about 12:30, Stillwater Police hosted a news conference to basically confirm some of the fatalities and put out some of the facts that they had learned. Among the people who spoke, President Burns Hargis, a guy who's had to make too many of these speeches in his career as the president of OSU, talking about just how proud he was of the community response, the bystanders who helped those who were injured, as well as all the different branches of state and local government, agencies, police, fire, coming to the aid of everyone who needed it. Mayor Gina Noble, who's actually an OSU professor, also spoke on that, talking about the resolve of this community and how this wasn't the first time that this has happened. In a situation in the homecoming parade, which is usually one of the most joyous events, of the weekend, little children and fans young and old, just enjoying the morning. So for something like this to happen certainly shakes everyone, players and coaches including, as we talk to them today.
Definitely so, and obviously Oklahoma State folks and anybody really around the country knows that this is not tragedy, is not anything new to Oklahoma State. The plane crash that involved 10 people linked to the Oklahoma State men's basketball program happening 14 years ago, and then only 4 years ago, the plane crash that killed the women's basketball coach Kurt Budke, longtime assistant Miranda Cerna. So obviously these tragedies, unfortunately, keep piling up around the Oklahoma State family, and it really, it set a mood that I think people might expect that it would set a pall over today. Just very subdued most people were. It seemed like less tailgaters, seemed like less rambunctious people out and about. And as you mentioned, this is one of the big weekends on campus. OSU homecoming, people around the country say homecoming is a big deal, but around here, it actually is.
Yeah, for this to happen when, there could be up to maybe 80,000 people in town last night for the walk around. You're talking about this is the most people who are in this city ever, annually. But as we saw this game go on, there were some touching moments. The moment of silence before the game, Coach Gundy leading the team in the Lord's Prayer beforehand. Players talked about the power of that post-game. But this was one where the stats really didn't matter. Glenn Spencer was very emotional afterwards, basically reiterating that. He said he didn't need to see a stat sheet, didn't want to talk about the game. He even said that he would have been totally fine had they canceled it, just knowing the magnitude of the event, being that people lost their lives. Players already talking about their want to go and visit some of these victims in the hospital, which I'm sure will take place over the next few days as more of these reports come out. I should also note that Mary Fallon came and talked with reporters on several different occasions, talking about the Oklahoma Standard, how the state, has had its fair share of tragedy and it has the resolve to overcome these types of things. So, for the Cowboys, it's not necessarily not at all the same as these past few victories overcoming adversity, but we're talking about a team that once again faced, some difficult circumstances in a game and was able to get the victory, albeit this against a very overmatched Kansas team. But, they have to be happy moving into 7-0 with a big test on Saturday at Texas Tech.
Yeah, definitely. So I'll say that Mike Gundy made a point to this, and I also talked to Lee Manzer, a longtime professor here at Oklahoma State, about the fact that people here who are part of the Oklahoma State family, they're just a blue-collar, salt-of-the-earth type of people. They rally around each other, and so I think we're already seeing that. We've already seen it. I think it happened in those moments right after the accident. I think it's going to continue to happen, but clearly just a day and a mood that we were not at all expecting. We'll talk more about football in days to come, but today, not really one of those days. But if you were looking for a final score, Oklahoma State did defeat Kansas 58-10. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.